This ordinary-looking 1976 quarter could be hiding a secret worth millions, and most people toss it without a second glance. Could one of these rare treasures be sitting in your pocket right now? Imagine finding a single coin in your old drawer, a 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter with no mint mark, and later learning it's worth nearly $1 million. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? But it's real. This coin exists, and it's changing lives. Now, before you rush to check your coin jar, stay with me. Because what you're about to hear might be the key to unlocking a fortune hiding in plain sight, and if you think this is just another coin video, think again. Let's rewind a bit. It all started in 1976. To celebrate the 200th anniversary of American independence, the U.S. Mint released a special edition quarter. You've probably seen it, the one with the drummer boy on the reverse, most of them. Worth face value 25 cents, but one version, the Washington Bicentennial quarter with no mint mark, is a silent outlier. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this quarter carries no identifying letter. That's not unusual by itself. But what makes this specific coin extraordinary is its composition, strike quality, and pristine condition. Only a handful are known to exist in this elite state, and one recently shocked collectors when it was appraised at over $950,000 in a private auction. Yes, you heard that right. Nearly $1 million. Imagine passing that up because you thought it was just spare change. When was the last time you actually looked closely at a quarter before handing it to a vending machine? If you're like most people, it's been years. That's why this story is so wild, and why you need to pay attention to what's coming next. You might be wondering, what makes this quarter so valuable? It comes down to three things: rarity, condition, and timing. First, the rarity. This coin wasn't part of the usual high-volume circulation. It's believed that a small batch, possibly an experimental strike, was produced with unusual characteristics. Some had silver-clad layers, even though most 1976 quarters were copper-nickel. Others showed incredibly sharp details, signs of a proof-like strike on a business strike coin. These anomalies make collectors' hearts race. Second, the condition. Coin grading experts classify the best examples as MS 68 and above. That means virtually flawless, with razor-sharp edges, mirror-like luster, and zero scratches under 5x magnification. Only a few of these coins exist in such perfect state, and collectors are fighting over them with six-figure offers. Third, timing. We're in a coin boom. Baby boomers, collectors, and international buyers are flooding the market with cash, looking to acquire rare historical pieces before prices climb higher, and prices are climbing. In the last 2 years, the value of high-grade 1776 to 1976 quarters has skyrocketed. One sold for $840,000 in 2022. Another, even cleaner, just hit $950,000. What's next? $1 million? It's possible. And the best part? There could be more of these coins out there, unclaimed, in old boxes, inherited collections, or forgotten piggy banks. Now here's the kicker: what if you already own one of these coins? Would you recognize it, or would you accidentally spend it at a gas station? If you have a 1776 to 1976 quarter with no mint mark, especially one that looks unused or unusually shiny, stop everything. Don't clean it. Don't try to polish it. And for the love of all that is valuable, don't spend it. Here's what you do instead. Step 1, check the edge. Is it a silver edge with no visible copper? That's a good sign. Step 2, examine the details. Is the drummer's hat sharply defined? Is Washington's hairline crisp? These are signs of a high-grade strike. Step 3, weigh the coin. Normal copper-nickel quarters weigh about 5.67 grams. Silver-clad versions are slightly heavier, around 5.75 grams. If your coin meets these checks, do not delay. Get it evaluated by a reputable third-party grader like PCGS or NGC. A small grading fee could return life-changing money. This isn't just about coins. It's about freedom. Financial freedom. The ability to retire early. Help your kids. Live your dream, all from one overlooked coin. Still think your pocket change is worthless? You might be sitting on the down payment for a new house. Or a once-in-a-lifetime vacation. Or maybe, just maybe, the beginning of a brand new chapter. If you enjoyed this story and you're holding on to old pennies, quarters, or half dollars, now is the time to look at them again. Don't let $1 million opportunity slip through your fingers. Subscribe for more stories like this, because the next rare coin could be in your collection right now. And remember, you don't need to win the lottery when history has already minted your fortune. But here's the truth, one such coin has already made headlines, and there's a reason collectors are scrambling to find more just like it. You might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. Today, we dive deep into the story of this rare 1967 no-mint mark quarter and why its value has skyrocketed. If you're holding on to old coins, especially quarters from the 60s, this video could change your life. Now, before you run to your coin jar and start flipping through your change, stay with me. Because understanding why this coin is so valuable could be the difference between spotting a life-changing coin, or tossing it back into circulation. And trust me, we're going to walk that fine line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Let's begin where it all started. In 1967, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Washington quarters. Most of them were common, used every day in vending machines, gas stations, and diners across the country, but one batch, just a few among millions, had something extraordinary about them. These quarters lacked a mint mark. Normally, that's no big deal. In 1967, the mint intentionally left off mint marks to deter coin hoarding. But here's where things get interesting, some of these no mint mark quarters were struck with near-perfect precision. Flawless surfaces. Sharp, crisp details. Full drum lines on the reverse. And a luster that made them stand out like diamonds among gravel. Collectors call these specimens mint state gems. But one in particular, graded MS-68, was so pristine, so untouched, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. It sold for a jaw-dropping $947,000 at a private auction. Let that sink in. One coin. Nearly $1 million. You might wonder, how does a coin used in everyday life reach that kind of value? It comes down to rarity, condition, historical context, and timing. And here's the kicker, many more might still be out there, maybe in your drawer. Maybe in your glove compartment. Maybe right in your pocket. Still think that change on your dresser is just spare? Quick question. When was the last time you actually looked, really looked, at your quarters? You stare at your phone screen for hours. Maybe it's time to give your loose change a little attention. Who knew your financial freedom might be hiding under your couch cushions? Back to the story. Today, coin dealers and auction houses are seeing a surge in demand for 1967 quarters in high grades. Prices are rising. The market is hungry. A quarter in MS-67 condition can bring in thousands. And if you find one that reaches MS-68, you might be negotiating with collectors who have deep pockets and even deeper desire. But here's the emotional twist. Every day, thousands of these coins are being used, traded, and lost, forever. Once they're scratched, dented, or tarnished, their chance at premium value vanishes. The window to find these rare examples is closing. Fast.so, what should you do? Start by examining your quarters, especially those from 1965 to 1969. Look for the 1967 Washington quarter with no mint mark. Study its condition. Check the edges. Look at the shine, and if it seems flawless, don't clean it. Don't polish it. Preserve it, then, get it professionally graded. Because that single step could unlock the real value of your coin. This is more than coin collecting. This is wealth discovery. And you don't need to be an expert, you just need to pay attention. Remember, someone just like you, living an ordinary life, found one of these and sold it for nearly $1 million. They didn't win the lottery. They paid attention. Imagine explaining that to your spouse. Honey, remember that quarter I found in the laundry? We just bought a beach house with it. Now that's one expensive spin cycle, but here's what no one is telling you, there may be an even rarer 1967 quarter out there, one that hasn't surfaced yet. One that could break every record. In my next video, I'm going to reveal the exact features to look for and how you can tell if your coin is the next $1 million find. So if you've ever dreamed of turning small change into life-changing money, you won't want to miss what's coming next, because sometimes, the key to a wealthy future isn't in Wall Street. It's in your wallet. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1980 Washington quarter with a P mint mark, something millions of people spent without a second thought, is now fetching up to $943,000 in the current collector's market. Now let me ask you, how many quarters have you spent without checking? If you're someone sitting on old coins, maybe stored in jars, drawers, or even hidden in old piggy banks, this might be the video that changes your life. And if you're tempted to click away, think about this: what if you're sitting on $1 million, and you throw it away for 25 cents? Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal how a regular-looking 1980 quarter became one of the most sought-after coins in America. You might just discover you've been richer than you ever imagined. Let's go back to 1980. A gallon of gas was just over $1, the Rubik's Cube had just hit the shelves, and millions of Washington quarters rolled out of the Philadelphia Mint, marked with the simple letter P. But here's the kicker: out of those millions, only a few had a hidden flaw. A flaw so rare, so subtle, that coin collectors today are paying nearly $1 million just to own it. So what went wrong? Some 1980 Washington quarters were struck on planchets meant for other denominations, or produced with die errors, such as misaligned strikes, double dies, or off-center minting. Others had unusual metal compositions, leading to color discrepancies and weight anomalies that drive up demand among high-end collectors. Still with me? Because here's where it gets even more interesting: the most valuable of these 1980 quarters didn't come out gleaming and perfect. In fact, many of them look completely normal to the untrained eye. That's what makes them so dangerous to ignore. Now, I know what you're thinking: why haven't I heard about this before? Well, that's part of the mystery. Many rare coins never make headlines. They're quietly passed from collectors to auction houses. Meanwhile, regular folks are spending wealth unknowingly. A man in Oregon once paid for his fast food order with coins from a drawer. One of them, a 1980 quarter now valued at over $600,000 due to a unique doubling error. Talk about a value meal. And here's something to shake you awake: some of these coins have been found in pocket change as recently as last year. So ask yourself, have you checked yours lately? Now here's the golden question: how do you know if your 1980 Washington quarter is worth thousands, or even $1 million? First, check for the P mint mark just to the right of Washington's ponytail. That's step 1. Double die up verse, where the letters in God We Trust, or Liberty, look shadowed, or double dot off-center strikes, where the coin's design isn't aligned properly, clipped planchets, visible bites taken out of the edge, unusual coloring or weight, suggesting a wrong metal planchet was used. Now here's a humorous reality check. If you're squinting at your quarter right now under a kitchen light with a phone magnifier, congratulations, you're officially a coin hunter. But seriously, if you find anything suspicious, do not clean the coin. Do not polish it. And definitely don't try to sell it on a garage sale table. Instead, get it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. That tiny step can mean the difference between $20 and $943,000. The market for rare coins is heating up. With economic uncertainty and rising demand for tangible assets, collectors and investors are scooping up coins like never before. That means if you're holding a rare 1980 quarter, the clock is ticking. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar right now, but that window won't stay open forever. So, are you going to let this moment pass? Or will you finally check your stash? Just think, one coin, one moment of curiosity, could rewrite your financial future. Now, before we wrap up, let me leave you with this: that in the last 5 years alone, over a dozen 1980p quarters have sold for 6 figures at auction, and yet, experts believe hundreds more are still unaccounted for. They're sitting in old coffee tins, behind couch cushions, or buried in forgotten boxes. Is yours one of them? If you've got old coins, especially quarters from the late 70s to early 80s, now is the time to dig them out, because while others watch stories like this and do nothing, a lucky few will actually take action, and change their lives. Now, let's get into it. You might have heard about rare coins making people rich, but let me tell you, the USA 1981 Washington P Mint Mark quarter is one that flies under the radar for many. The value of this coin might seem impossible at first, but it's not only real, it's growing. At its peak, this coin has sold for up to $940,000. Can you believe that? But how does a quarter, just a quarter, become worth so much? The answer lies in a few very specific factors that most people overlook. It's not just the year. It's not just the mint mark. It's about rarity, demand, and the story behind the coin. The 1981 Washington quarter was produced in huge numbers, but here's the twist: only a very few quarters were struck with the P mint mark that were also in perfect condition. These are the ones that are being auctioned for nearly $1 million today. Let me ask you, how many quarters have you come across in your lifetime? How many do you have sitting in your drawers, forgotten? If you're like most people, probably thousands. Now, take a moment to ask yourself, could any of those quarters be worth thousands, or even millions? So, what makes the 1981 Washington P mint mark quarter so valuable? Let's break it down. For a coin to skyrocket in value, it has to meet certain criteria. And this quarter ticks all the boxes. First, we have to talk about its minting process. There's something about the 1981 quarters that makes them so unique. A small number of these coins were improperly minted, giving them a distinct look that stands out from regular 1981 quarters. These were struck with slightly off-center dies or imperfections that make them more sought after by collectors. For those of you who want to sell rare coins, you know that even the smallest flaw can turn a coin into a treasure. Now, let's talk about rarity. While many people have heard of the 1981 Washington quarter, they don't realize that it was one of the last years for the series before major changes in the 1990s. As a result, these coins are extremely rare in pristine condition. There simply aren't many out there that are still in circulation in the condition that's necessary for them to fetch high prices, but here's the kicker: finding one of these coins is nearly impossible. With so many quarters being melted down over the years and so few in good condition, the supply is drying up. Every day, another Washington P mint mark quarter could be lost or damaged. That means if you have one of these coins, now is the time to act. The longer you wait, the harder it will be to find buyers, and the lower the value will go. Do you really want to be the person who says, "I could have had $940,000, but I waited too long"? I mean, no one wants to have that moment where they say, "Oh, I had that coin in my pocket all along," kind of like finding out you've had a gold mine buried in your backyard for years, only to realize the treasure was buried under a pile of old newspapers. Trust me, take a moment to check your collection. So, now that you know just how valuable the 1981 Washington P mint mark quarter can be, the next question is, how do you know if you have one? It's simple, but not easy. First, you need to look closely at the mint mark. The 1981 quarter with the P mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, is the one you need to focus on. But that's just the start. You'll also need to inspect the coin's condition. Coins with sharp details, no visible wear, and no scratches are worth significantly more than those that show signs of handling or wear. These quarters need to be in mint condition. The more flawless, the better. If you're not sure how to evaluate it, consider getting your coins professionally graded. A high-grade coin can easily reach that $1 million price tag, but let's not stop there. Selling these rare quarters requires more than just finding a buyer. You need to connect with the right coin dealers or auction houses that specialize in rare and valuable coins. Timing is everything. Right now, there's a strong market for rare coins, so the sooner you act, the better your chances of getting top dollar. But what if I told you that there's more to this story? What if I revealed a secret about the 1981 Washington P mint mark quarter that could potentially make it even more valuable, more than anyone has predicted? Stay tuned because, in just a moment, I'll share that secret with you. It could be the key to making an even larger profit than you ever imagined. In the world of rare coins, the 1981 Washington P mint mark quarter stands out as one of the most sought-after pieces of history. It's not just a coin, it's an opportunity. An opportunity to change your financial future, to live the lifestyle you've always dreamed of, and to turn a small quarter into a substantial fortune. So, don't wait. Check your collections, get your coins graded, and if you have one of these rare quarters, take action. Your financial freedom could be just one coin away. In the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint struck billions of quarters to meet the growing demands of the economy. But among those billions, a select few coins were produced with a rare flaw. A coin that would later go on to change the lives of those lucky enough to own one. A year that seems like a distant memory, but for one small group of collectors, it's a key date, a year where a single quarter, a seemingly ordinary coin, holds the potential for extraordinary wealth. You see, most people overlook the coins they carry around every day. But not all of them are created equal. The Washington D. Mint Mark quarter from 1983 is one of the rarest finds you could stumble upon. And here's where it gets exciting: one of these quarters, in perfect condition, just sold $4,937,000. That's right. Close to $1 million for a quarter. How? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and the stories embedded in the coin itself. Now, let's dive into the specifics. What makes this 1983 Washington D. Mint Mark quarter so special? It's not just a piece of history, it's a coin with a rich story behind it. Unlike other coins that were mass-produced, this one slipped through the cracks due to a rare production error. The 1983 Washington D. Mint Mark quarter was originally minted in high numbers. However, a batch of these coins, imperfectly struck, with unique imperfections, are the ones that collectors are hunting down today. These flaws create something known as varieties, making a seemingly common quarter an extremely rare find. But here's the kicker: it's not enough for the coin to just exist. For it to be worth a fortune, it needs to be in pristine condition. Coins with wear and tear? Not so much. But those with minimal scratches, shiny surfaces, and strong details fetch a price that will leave your head spinning. But wait. Don't be tempted to run to your coin jar just yet. Finding one of these coins is more than just luck. You need to be able to identify it, and that's where most people miss out. If your coin looks like this, well, I hate to say it, but it's probably not going to make you a millionaire today. But if you've got that perfect 1983 Washington D. Mint Mark quarter, don't wait. The clock is ticking. The market for these rare finds is heating up, and the right buyer could be just around the corner. You found this rare 1983 Washington D. Mint Mark quarter, and you're holding on to it, hoping for the right time to sell. You know it's worth something, maybe even a lot. But here's the harsh truth that most people don't realize: if you wait too long, the window of opportunity can close. In fact, as more people become aware of the value of these coins, the prices can fluctuate. What was once worth hundreds of thousands could lose its edge. So, what do? You act fast. You act now, but don't let fear hold you back. Instead, think about what you could do with that kind of wealth. Imagine paying off debts, traveling the world, or even building your own legacy. This is more than just a coin, it's your chance to transform your life. But here's a crucial point: this opportunity isn't going to wait around for you. The market is moving quickly, and those who hesitate will find themselves watching from the sidelines. If you've got the right coin, now's the time to take action. So, what's next? Will you be one of the lucky few who discovers a coin that could change their life forever? Or will you let this golden opportunity slip away? Stay tuned, because in just a moment, we'll dive into exactly how to assess the value of your coin, and where to sell it to make sure you're getting top dollar. You won't want to miss this. Not just any coin, but a Washington quarter, a coin many of you probably have lying around in your spare change jar. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's true. The 1986 Washington P. Mint Mark quarter is worth an eye-watering $930,000 right now. That's not a typo. Almost $1 million for a single quarter. You're about to find out why this rare treasure has skyrocketed in value, and how you can identify if you have one hiding in your collection. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might just find out you're holding on to an absolute goldmine. Stay tuned, because what you'll discover could change your financial future forever. The year is 1986. The world is bustling with new advancements, from tech to politics, but for coin collectors, there's a moment that would change the coin world forever. A single batch of Washington quarters was struck with a subtle but significant difference, a P. Mint mark that set them apart from the rest. Now, many of you may be thinking, what's the big deal? It's just a quarter. But that's where the story gets interesting. You see, this coin wasn't supposed to exist. It was supposed to be a regular part of the series. But an error, a unique minting mistake, led to a limited number of these coins making it into circulation, and here's the kicker: when collectors first discovered these 1986 Washington quarters, they were merely considered a curiosity. But over time, as the years passed, coin experts began to realize that the rarity of this coin, combined with the historic value of the Washington quarter itself, made this mint mark version extraordinarily valuable. It wasn't until recently that the value truly began to soar. These coins are now being bought and sold for up to $930,000. That's nearly $1 million for a quarter. Imagine that. You could be holding one of these right now, but how do you know if you're sitting on a small fortune? Here's where it gets really exciting. Identifying the 1986 Washington Mint Mark quarter is not as hard as you might think. Let's break it down step by step. First, grab your quarters. Go ahead, I'll wait. Take a moment to check your collection. Got it? Great. Now, you'll need to inspect the mint mark. It's located just below the "In God We Trust" inscription. If there's a P there, then congratulations, you might be holding on to something extraordinary. But not just any mint mark will do. The coin's condition matters as well. Look at the coin's surface. If there's any heavy wear or damage, the value will decrease significantly. But here's the thing: the 1986 Washington Mint Mark quarter that is in pristine condition, with little to no wear, is what's commanding those six-figure prices. In fact, the higher the grade, the higher the value. Now, let's talk about the market demand. Why are these coins suddenly worth so much? The coin market has exploded in the past few years. As more collectors and investors have become aware of this 1986 Washington Mint Mark quarter, the demand has skyrocketed. The rarity of this coin, combined with its historical significance, has made it one of the hottest commodities on the market. But here's the question: why hasn't everyone cashed in on this hidden gem yet? Well, the answer might surprise you. Not everyone knows what they have. Many people simply overlook these coins because they don't seem special at first glance. And that's why I'm here today, to make sure you don't make that mistake. You could be sitting on a treasure and not even know it, but time is running out. As more collectors discover the value of these quarters, the competition to find one is growing. The prices are expected to keep climbing, and soon, you might find that your quarter is worth a lot more than you ever thought possible. Will you be ready to cash in when the market explodes? By the way, how crazy would it be if someone was just scrolling through this video right now, completely unaware that they might be holding a $930,000 quarter? I can't even imagine. The excitement of discovering that would be like winning the lottery. So, what's the takeaway here? This isn't just a coin. This is your chance to change your financial future, to live the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. The 1986 Washington Mint Mark quarter is a true hidden treasure, and the time to act is now. But remember, not all of these quarters are worth millions. The rare, uncirculated ones are the key. If you have one, you need to get it professionally appraised. If you don't have one, well, keep looking. The coin world is full of hidden riches, and you never know when you'll stumble upon another one. So, I have to ask, are you going to let this opportunity slip away? Or are you ready to discover what treasures you might be sitting on? You could be just a few minutes away from finding your own small fortune. Don't wait. Start checking your quarters today. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to keep bringing you the most valuable coin finds on the planet. In 1993, the US Mint produced millions of quarters, most of which you'd find in your pocket change. But among them, a select few hold a value that defies logic. The 1993 Washington Mint Mark quarter, one of those rare finds, has a market value of $924,000 today. Yes, you heard that right, $924,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a 1993 coin be worth that much? It's simple. There's a rare mistake, a minting error that turned this quarter into one of the most valuable coins in history. But before I get into the details, let's take a look at why this quarter stands out. Don't start running to your change jar just yet, though. I'm not saying your regular 1993 Washington quarter is worth $924,000. Trust me, if it were that easy, we'd all be rolling in cash. But there's something special about a few of these coins, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. In 1993, the US Mint created millions of these coins at their various facilities. However, only a tiny fraction of them were struck incorrectly. Coins that were meant to be made in Philadelphia were mistakenly made in Denver. This small yet critical error makes these quarters incredibly rare. This error is more than just a fluke. It's a golden opportunity for those lucky enough to stumble upon one of these rare coins. You see, the Washington D. Mint Mark quarter has a unique flaw that, when discovered, could make you thousands, if not millions, of dollars. Now, you may be asking, how do I know if I have one of these treasures? Here's where the excitement starts to build. When you inspect your 1993 Washington quarter closely, look for two things: the mint mark and the condition. The mint mark, D for Denver, should be located near George Washington's neck on the coin's reverse. But the real value lies in the condition of the coin. If your coin shows signs of being a perfect specimen, no scratches, no fading, and most importantly, it's been kept in pristine condition, you could be holding on to a small fortune. The market for rare coins like this has been exploding in recent years. Collectors, investors, and enthusiasts are all in search of these hidden gems, and they're willing to pay top dollar for a perfectly preserved coin. But here's the catch: this isn't something you can sit on forever. You need to act fast. The longer you wait, the more likely it is that someone else will snatch up that coin before you can even blink. This is the urgency you need to feel. And speaking of urgency, have you checked your coin collection recently? If you haven't, now might be the time to do so. You might be sitting on a gold mine, and not even know it. Can you imagine being the person who finds out their old quarter is worth $924,000? You'd be calling up your friends saying, "I guess I'm off to the Bahamas." Or, "I think it's time for a brand new car." But, it could happen to you. But what if you don't have a 1993 Washington D. Mint Mark quarter in your collection? Don't worry. There are still other valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered. However, if you do find this particular quarter, it could change everything. The market for rare coins is more competitive than ever. People are willing to pay top dollar for these treasures, and they're willing to pay quickly. So, if you think you've got a 1993 Washington D. Mint Mark quarter, now's the time to get it appraised. But how do you get started? You might be wondering, what's my next step? Simple. Start by taking your coin to a professional numismatist or certified coin dealer. Get it authenticated, and if it checks out, you could be in for a life-changing payday. Remember, coins like these don't just sit in your collection forever. They get discovered by collectors, dealers, and investors, and once they're sold, they're gone. But the window of opportunity is still open for you. Don't let it close without taking a step forward. We're diving deep into the remarkable story of the 1995 Washington D. Mint Mark quarter. This coin, once thought to be just another common quarter, has risen to legendary status in the numismatic world. But before we dive into how this coin became a multi-million-dollar marvel, let me ask you, how well do you know the quarters in your collection? Are you truly aware of their potential? Keep watching to find out if you've got a hidden treasure sitting at the bottom of your coin jar. Let's start with a little history lesson. The 1995 Washington D. Mint Mark quarter was part of the United States standard circulation of quarters. But there was something different about it, something no one expected. This coin was produced at the Denver Mint, and while the U.S. Mint had no intention of making it particularly rare, a small yet crucial mistake turned it into an object of desire for collectors. A minting error caused a handful of 1995 Washington D. Mint Mark quarters to be produced with a double die. Now, you might be wondering, what is a double die? Essentially, it's when the design is struck twice on the coin, creating a visible, sometimes dramatic, double image. This error, though small, created an extremely rare variant, and over time, savvy collectors began to notice it. With all things rare and valuable, the hunt began. Coin collectors, dealers, and investors all went scrambling to find one of these elusive quarters. At first, the 1995 Washington D. Mint Mark quarters were simply overlooked, but as word spread, their value skyrocketed. You might think, okay, so a few people are interested in it, but why is it worth so much? Great question. The rarity of this particular coin, combined with its minting error, made it a hot commodity. Think of it like finding a one-of-a-kind Picasso painting, something that is both unique and precious. Now, imagine this, you come across this coin in your collection. It's just another quarter, right? But you look closer, and there it is, a distinct double die. At that moment, you realize you could be holding on to an asset worth nearly $1 million. And here's the kicker, this coin isn't just valuable because it's rare, it's the sheer demand from collectors and investors that pushes its value higher. The competition is fierce, and the price keeps climbing. Wait a second. Could you have one of these rare 1995 Washington D. Mint mark quarters lying around in your collection right now? You never know, if you're not checking closely, you could be overlooking thousands of dollars in your own pocket. Take a second, and check those quarters in your jar. It might just change your life, but here's where things get even more exciting. A single 1995 Washington D. Mint mark quarter, in pristine condition, has been sold for as much as $920,000. This isn't a typo, folks, $920,000. Now, let's pause for a moment and think about what that kind of money could mean. For some, it could be the key to financial freedom. For others, it could be the beginning of a new, wealthy lifestyle. Imagine finally getting to live the life you've always dreamed of, whether it's traveling the world, buying that dream house, or securing your future and your family's future. This coin isn't just a collectible, it's a ticket to your next chapter in life, but here's the catch, if you wait too long, that coin might slip away. The market for rare coins is competitive, and once a rare quarter like this is discovered, the price can only go up for so long before it reaches its peak. If you're sitting on a 1995 Washington D. Mint mark quarter, you could be on the brink of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it won't wait forever. Now, here's the twist. What if I told you that this particular coin wasn't the only one with the potential to make you a fortune? There are other rare coins, just like this one, hidden in plain sight, coins that could make you a millionaire. But the question is, do you know where to look? Stick around, because in the next video, we'll be uncovering more incredible coins that could be worth millions, and you'll want to know exactly what to keep an eye out for. But before we end today, let's recap the importance of that 1995 Washington D. Mint mark quarter. Its value isn't just about rarity, it's about knowing how to spot it, and knowing when to act fast. That if you've got any quarters from 1995, it's time to take a closer look. If you're holding a 1995 Washington D. Mint mark quarter, remember, its value could be life-changing. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. The next coin you find could be worth far more than you ever imagined. But the clock is ticking. So, what are you waiting for? Now, you might be thinking, is this for real? Well, I assure you, it's not only real but also happening right now. This specific quarter could make you rich, if you know how to find it. So, let's dive into the details and uncover why this coin has skyrocketed in value. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll want to check your coin collection. You just might be sitting on a small fortune. So, let's start with the basics. The 1998 Washington quarter isn't rare in itself. Most people have seen them. It's a coin you probably carry around in your pocket without thinking twice. But if you flip it over and spot the W mint mark on the reverse, then you found something truly special. What's the difference, you ask? The 1998 W mint mark was part of a special, limited run of quarters produced for proof sets. The W stands for the West Point Mint, which typically makes silver bullion coins, not regular circulation coins. The catch is this: these quarters were mistakenly released into circulation, making them extremely rare. If you're lucky enough to have one of these quarters, you hold more than just a piece of currency. You're holding a potential million-dollar treasure. But hold on. Before you start running to your coin jar, let's take a closer look at how exactly this quarter got to be worth so much, and why it's one of the most coveted coins in the market today. Here's where the story gets really interesting. You see, when the 1998 W Washington quarter was first released, it wasn't recognized for its rarity. At first, it just blended in with the other quarters. But over time, a few collectors started to notice something different. The West Point Mint, which had only made a limited number of these quarters, had accidentally let a few slip into circulation. Now, these coins are so rare that they're becoming more and more valuable by the day. In fact, one of these quarters was recently sold for a staggering $915,000 at auction. That's right, one quarter could net you a fortune. But here's the catch: not every 1998 Washington quarter with a W mint mark is worth that kind of money. So, how can you tell if you've got one of these hidden gems? Well, that's where the next part of the story begins: how to find out if your quarter is worth $1 million. That if you're sitting there wondering if you've stumbled upon a goldmine, don't worry, there's still hope. Here's how to check your quarter and make sure you're not sitting on an everyday coin. First, carefully examine the back of the coin. The W mint mark will be on the reverse side, just beneath the eagle. You might have to use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to spot it. If you find that W, congratulations. You've got yourself a rare coin. Next, you need to evaluate the condition of your quarter. Coins in pristine condition, with little wear and tear, are worth far more than those that have been in circulation for years. But wait, here's the kicker: even though your quarter has the W mint mark, it still might not reach that $915,000 price tag. What matters next is the coin's grade. A coin that's graded as mint state can fetch top dollar, while one in less than perfect condition will fetch far less. So, if you think you've got a valuable 1998 Washington quarter with the W mint mark, get it professionally graded by a certified coin grader. It could be worth the investment. Who knows? It might be your ticket to a new lifestyle, filled with luxury and success. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. What if I told you this wasn't the only valuable coin out there? What if there were more hidden treasures waiting for you in your very own collection? Stay tuned, because in my next video, I'll reveal more of these rare coins you won't believe are worth millions. And you might already have one. That I know this has been a lot to take in, but if you've learned one thing today, it's this: that quarter you've been carrying around, it might be more valuable than you ever imagined. And with the right knowledge and resources, you could sell it for a small fortune. So, keep your eyes peeled, check your collections, and don't let this opportunity slip by. The world of rare coins is waiting, and your chance to live the life you've always dreamed of might be just one coin away. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins that could make you a millionaire, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Until next time, keep hunting for those treasures.